Hey everybody, this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works, and it's been a busy week, and we have some updates. This is Devin Pitts' guitar. This is Victim of the Storm number 3 from him. It got flooded with salt water during Hurricane Helene, and the body came down to the correct moisture content relatively quickly. The neck did not. The neck was hovering at like 18 to 20% forever, and then finally gave up the ghost and came down. Once it did, I went ahead and ordered from Jakarta, Indonesia, because that's where they come from, another Ibanez wiring harness. Now this has the short import switch. This is all PC board stuff. Now why did I order it instead of try and trace it? And I'm not an electrical engineer. Remember, I charge for the work I do. It is much cheaper for me to purchase this and wait for it to arrive than to charge a customer for 3 hours of me trying to decipher what his electronics are intended to do by Ibanez, who doesn't really answer phone calls or emails real well. So that's where we are with that. So now we're going to move ahead. And I didn't purchase the parts, the electronic parts earlier, because we weren't sure that neck was going to make it. Now, little known facts, Ibanez necks are wider than normal 6-string guitar necks for electric guitars. I think they do this so they can use the same neck for 6 and 7-string models. It would be a smart manufacturing move. Now, item number 2 is the Tacoma guitar that was brought in by Rick out of Punta Gorda. Now, this is a company that started out in the early 2000s, I want to say, in Tacoma, Washington, and then was bought out by Fender Guitars. So they were doing something right. What they had a problem with is finish. On some of the early models, what happened was the polyester finish they put on the guitar hazed or bubbled up. It did not seal well to the wood on both the top skin of the guitar and on the headstock. Now, I am on the Tacoma guitar boards, the forum, and they said some of them side blister too. I haven't seen that, but in Southwest Florida, I've seen 3 with blistered top, blistered headstock. So Rick, who brought this in, had a lot of experience in the auto body industry, and knew what I was talking about when I said you could save a lot of money if you go to Geico. No, you could save a lot of money if you do some of the stripping work yourself, and I'm not spending all these hours on some mundane tasks that you could get done really quick, and he did, because he knows how to do it. So what he had to do was take a heat gun, turn it upside down, because that's the natural stand for a heat gun, and turn on the low setting, and wearing a glove with a scraper, keep the guitar at medium distance, 6 to 8 inches away from the tip of the heat gun, just enough to be able to get underneath and lift all the finish off. And he did a great job. If you're going to use a heat gun to do this on your Tacoma, you want to be very cognizant of the bindings around the edges, because I don't believe those are anything other than plastic. And if you get the gun too close, you'll melt them. Now, right now, they're covered with masking tape. Now, also, the rosettes going around the sound hole and the decal that's on the headstock has adhesive under it. So if you get that too hot, you're going to get glue squirting out from underneath, or you're going to get the decal to slide and leave a mar of adhesive across the guitar, or possibly burn the decal. So once that was done, what Rick did was sand the top of the guitar with 600 grit sandpaper. He brought it to me. I masked it out immediately, and then sprayed Mohawk pre-catalyzed sander sealer. Why spray it? Why not just brush it on? Well, this is the top soundboard of an acoustic guitar. It produces the tonal qualities of that guitar. And it sounded really good when he brought it in, because it was functioning. And the light coat of the aerosol sanding sealer isn't going to penetrate that Sitka spruce enough to change the tone of the guitar. And then it allows the lacquer finish to go on top of that and adhere to the sanding sealer and not have as much of a covalent bond that goes deep into the wood, but basically rests close to the surface and doesn't allow moisture in. So there you have it. Now, after that, we sprayed the guitar with Stumac nitrocellulose high gloss lacquer, and once again, light coats. Now, we're going to let the guitar sit, I told Rick, for about 4 weeks. Now, I know there are people losing their minds on the internet right now saying, you don't have to wait that long, you don't have to wait that long. Well, wait, stop. Southwest Florida, 75% average daily humidity, and that's low. Normally 80, 85%. It gets very humid here. The Gulf of Mexico is a half a mile that way. I'm just saying, this is what we got, so we have to deal with this environment. If you're in Denver, Colorado, and you have 20% or 17% humidity, that lacquer may cure enough and off-gas enough and be hard enough to work with the next day. Now, most of the lacquer manufacturers recommend 2 weeks, and you can go on the internet and look that up. The guys I talked to said, where you're at, I would wait 3 to 4. They said 3 is good, 4 might be better. Now, in the past, when I sprayed lacquer, because in this business you learn a lot of stuff by the mistakes you make, and I tried to work with the lacquer finish too soon, there was a flaw. And there's never time to do it right, or enough time to do it right, but there's always time to do it over. And I did a lot of stuff over again, and I'm done with that. So now we sit, we let it cure, we let it off gas, let it get nice and hard. We're gonna come back and start with 600 grit wet sanding just to get the scratches out, then go to 800 to make the scratches smaller, and then we're going to 1,000 just because we like moving our arm in circles like Mr. Miyagi, and we're gonna do that. And we're gonna make this guitar look good. Then we're gonna clean off all that sanding residue, and we're gonna buff it out with some medium grit to start off with on our buffing wheel, and then we're gonna go to the fine grit, or we're gonna go fine and extra fine. I can't remember. I'll look when I get there. But that's how to do it. Now, we did post on the Tacoma Guitar Forum about our method on how we did this. So I'm not trying to hide anything for you. This is a DIY thing you could do at home. It's not a major thing. Now, first, let me justify this. You have to have some woodworking skills. You have to have some finishing skills. If this is your first project and you have nothing invested in the guitar, if you're gonna try and do this to your Martin D45, whoa, 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 that's lacquer, stop, don't do that. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is, look for some information. There are resources out there to let you know what's in your range and what's not. We'll always try and give you good advice on that. Now, the last thing today is the giveaway. Everybody's stuck around for the giveaway, right? And here it is. This is a Telecaster style guitar. It is not a Fender. It is not serial numbered. It has a rosewood fretboard. It has a plastic nut on it. It does have a dual action truss rod. It's got the import tuners on it. It's got 2 pickups that are 11.7 ohms K resistance in the neck and 13K ohms resistance in the bridge. And in the middle, I want to say it's 8 or 9 or something like that. It's got a 2-pneumatic bridge and a stop tailpiece. It's got volume, tone, and a 3-way import switch. It's got the jack strap buttons, and it's got the rear cavity to get all the wiring, and it's also got your bolt-on neck. Now, this is a photo flame and body, I'm pretty sure, and they were really big in Japan and Asia back in the day. And you notice it's got this really pretty grain appearance to it, and then when you flip it, it's got a completely different grain. So that's probably photo flame. Is there any problems with it? No. Have you played a guitar with photo flame? Probably. Yep. And this guitar was brought in by my friend Chris Mitchell, who I think is the guy who assembled this parts caster in his quest to build guitars. And Chris now builds guitar necks and fretboards and does fret jobs and everything else. He's doing a lot of great stuff. But he wanted a child that is learning to play guitar, that is looking for a Telecaster style guitar in this area. It is free, absolutely free to them. And why I say this area is because I am not paying to ship this guitar across the world or someplace else. This guitar is probably valued around $300 for the equipment that's in it and as it sits. It is playable. It's got a brand new set of Ernie Ball 10s on that I put on today. I did replace one of the tuning machines because it was broken, and that is the nature of the beast with some of the import tuning machines. We checked out the electronics. I changed the input jack in it. But if you're a guitar instructor in this area, Pete Syracuse, hint, hint, and you have a student that's playing acoustic and wants to get into electric, maybe this is the guitar for him. So you can contact me by calling me and leaving a message. My phone number is at the beginning of the screen when this video started on that card, and you could tell me that none of my ideas are any good or whatever you want. And also, I think most of the people on this channel are pretty reputable, so I don't think anybody's going to game the system and say, oh yeah, I've got a 9-year-old that would love that guitar and come and get it, and then I see it on Facebook Marketplace the next day. Don't be crude and rude and all that, and socially unacceptable. If you know a child that's looking for a guitar and they need an electric one, it's not the best guitar in the world. And I had this when I was growing up. I probably would have played better. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But you know how to get in touch with me in the comments. So this is a giveaway from, like I said, my friend Chris Mitchell. And that was awful nice of him to donate that guitar like that. So this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works. Remember, only half my ideas are any good. And you have to decide which half.